Hello everyone and welcome to the week 112 update for ICARUS. So today I'm going to be going over the notable notes and changes in this update, and then I will be diving into everything you need to know regarding the bees and the layout of the actual farm you're going to need to utilize and maximize the full buffs of bees. So first of all, we're going to be starting off with the notable improvements, and then we'll crack on with all of the bee information. So the first notable improvements this week is the reduced cost of glass building pieces. Most building pieces now use 2 iron ingots instead of 6, and 6 epoxy instead of 12. This allows easier access to glass. Now, since the reinforced glass and the regular glass is exactly the same recipe, it's just the water which is the deciding factor in that. That would go for the reinforced glass as well, which is awesome. Ice ore deposits no longer spawn in each time when loading a prospect, creating duplicates, causing unintended performance issues. This was caused by multiple instances of each prospect being loaded, and therefore save files being larger than they need to be. That's a good find by the devs. Operations accessible through the contact device now show their operation information, play a briefing dialogue, and have a confirmation so you can see the information on the operation before launching. Wine bottles and beer bottles have been combined into one item, glass bottles, which is used for wine, beer, and mead. That's really good, but so they're just combining stuff, which makes sense. It never used to make much sense anyways, having multiple different bottles when they're the same thing. Shifted Snowstalker and Arid Striker critical hit locations and have firmly attached to the head as is incorrectly shifting without warning, making the creatures very hard to score critical hits on. It was actually really difficult to get their crits on the strikers. That's a good change. Waterfalls and lava falls now have collision and correctly add the wet modifier and set players on fire respectively. Due to this, you can now swim up waterfalls. Fair enough, okay. I'll have to try that when I'm not in the Swamp biome at some point. Added the missing recipe for the Brutalist bed in the Industrialist DLC. It is now craftable as intended. Dehumidifier buffs now correctly affect objects and can now block the ash clog debuff caused by weather events in the volcanic biome. I didn't even know that was a thing, to be honest. That sounds pretty cool. Just confirmation that the reinforced glass recipe is also changed. So it is only 2 iron ingots, 20 glass, and 6 epoxy for the actual glass walls still. So that's good. I'm glad both of them are changed. I had a feeling they might have kept reinforced glass, but with water only being the deciding factor in that, it wouldn't have made much sense. Another big change this week, which isn't a part of the notable changes, is the reinforced wood, which is only craftable on the electric carpentry bench in tier 4. Now, you only can unlock this in tier 4, the reinforced wood, right at the end. So to craft the new reinforced wood, you are going to have the electric carpentry bench, and the recipes are as follows. You're going to need fiber, wood, and beeswax. I'll talk about beeswax when we get onto the bee segment of this update. That is now the recipe going forward if you want the reinforced wooden materials. It gives you all of the previous buffs, but the reinforced trait gives it plus 50% wind resistance, plus 400% maximum health, and it gives you a plus 3 building tier. So what that means is this is now on par with stone. It kind of falls into the tier 6 category now if you use the reinforced wood. So if you don't like using stone, this is your option now. So here we have the reinforced wood and the regular wood. They're identical in every single way until you bring out the repair hammer. Durability 1000 on the regular wood. This is without any talents. Durability 5200 without any talents. Just the reinforced wood as standard. So as you can see, that is a significant difference. So if you want reinforced wood from now on, unfortunately, you're going to have to build the electric carpentry bench. It doesn't make any sense to go all of that way and just build reinforced wood. And this is the new Brutalist bed, which has been introduced in this week's update also. This is a part of the Brutalist DLC pack. And this is a tier 4 bed, which means it'll give you 900 seconds worth of rest. Okay, so time for the beehives. This is going to be everything you need to know regarding the beehives. So you might have saw over the past week, I've put out a couple of in-depth videos regarding the bees and the setups that work best for them. First of all, what you're going to have to do is go to your tech tree, tier 2, and then just search bee, and then you want to locate the beehive. So you'll unlock the beehive, and to craft this, you'll need 25 copper nails, 30 refined wood, and 10 honeycomb. Now, to get honeycomb, you are going to have to go into a cave or find a wild beehive out in the wild, either in the grasslands, riverlands on Olympus, or the conifer biome on Olympus or Styx. The grasslands and Prometheus, which has the beehives as well, but they're also available in caves. So to locate them in caves, it's usually in the swamp, conifer, riverlands. They're the 3 biomes you're going to notably find the beehives in, unless something's drastically changed and they're now in most caves and most biomes. But they are the 3 most common locations to find the beehives. So once you've got your honeycomb from a beehive inside of a cave or out in the wild, you do want to be careful as bees will attack you and swarm you. The only way you can take these down is by hitting them with a melee weapon. I find a knife normally does the trick, but you do want to be careful because the bees will sting you and they'll put a debuff on you. You'll notice that the beehive is in tier 2, but it requires 500 power. Now, I think the way the devs have done this is because they just want to add the 500 power to the beehive straight away, because there's a couple of items that are going to require the power anyways. Once you've unlocked the beehive, you can go ahead and unlock the small beehive expansion, and that is 15 honeycomb, 20 refined wood, 25 aluminium ingots, and 10 steel screws. But the good thing is you can produce your own honeycomb at this point, as you do have the beehive. Now you've got that, you can get another expansion called the large beehive expansion, and this gains you +6 inventory slots, like the small beehive extension as well. So that's 12 additional slots you'll get, which will be coming in very handy. And as you progress, you can go ahead and unlock the beehive breeding center. This is unlockable in the machining bench also. This will be 16 platinum sheath, 20 beeswax, and 10 steel screws, along with the beehive extractor, which is craftable on the fabricator. It's 30 copper wire, 2 titanium plate, 15 glass, and 8 electronics. Again, that is craftable on the fabricator. The beehive itself is craftable on the crafting bench. So there's one thing to note, beehives can be placed indoors or outdoors. I prefer to have them indoors because of the setup I'm about to use, so I can manage my bees and my crops a lot better. Another thing to note is that you do need a queen bee as well, and the only way you can get them is by attacking the beehives, and you have a 30% chance of actually getting the actual queen. You will get worker bees nearly 100% of the time, along with honeycomb from a beehive. Just take note that you may have to take out a couple of beehives to actually get a queen bee. Once you're all ready to go, these are all the items that you should have. You should have the beehive, the small beehive expansion, the large beehive expansion, the beehive breeding center, and the beehive extractor. Now, these are some of the items you're going to need to put inside of the beehives to start producing honey before you have to use the queen bee. So first, you'll be using the worker bees. These are going to be producing the honeycomb for use in the bee box and the both expansions. The beehive breeding center, you are going to need a queen bee for that. So first of all, we're going to go ahead and put down the beehive. I want to make this central because of the design I'm about to show you, if you haven't seen this week's earlier videos. Now we're going to have to go and hook up power to the beehive. So once you've got power running to your beehive, what you can do now is go ahead and place up to 5 worker bees inside of its fuel source, and this will start producing honeycomb, 1 per minute. But you can actually go ahead and upgrade this now. So the first upgrade you want to add is a small beehive expansion in the upper slot, what's flashing, and you will see it now physically change. So you've now got 6 additional slots. Now you can go ahead and place the large beehive expansion as well, or the other additional slots, so that brings you up to 12. What you can also do now is put the breeding center into the upgrade slot, and you will see this physically change. What you can do now, since you've got the breeding center, you can go ahead and put a queen bee in the breeding slot, and this will produce worker bees for you. You do want to be careful though, and keep an eye on your queen bee, because this is consumed over time. You will have to go out and get yourself some more queen bees. The next slot is the beehive extractor. you can go ahead and put this in the upgrade slot. And again, you'll see that it's physically changed. What this will do, this will give you honeycomb on top of the honeycomb production already. And it will also give you beeswax and honey. One thing I've actually just noticed with the Beehive, that's a change in the actual patch today. When I've been testing it, it hasn't looked like this. You can now activate the honey extractor, so you're not getting overwhelmed with an influx of honey, beeswax, and honeycomb in the inventory. This is something I touched on in a video earlier on in the week. So you can actually go ahead and activate this now to produce the actual 3 items. Worker bees are also consumed, so you do want a good little stock of them. So if you are out in caves, you can also harvest them, because they are slow at actually breeding. You might want to go out and get yourself some additional worker bees if you're in caves mining or whatever. Now, onto farming. Bees are very good for your farms. So, for example, let's take a look here. You can see the modifier. There's a bee. I'll just go ahead and harvest this. And you will see this buff here. Aura effect, nearby beehive. Plus 50 to planted crop yield. Now, if you're a single player, this will probably not be as effective for you. But if you're in a group of players, this is very beneficial if you want to get good food out fast. There's a caveat to this though. There is an invisible circle which goes around this beehive. Now, it took me a little while to get the design of this farm layout to suit the actual needs of the farm, so I'll get the bonus from the beehive. Like I showed you in an earlier video this week, this is the shape you want if you want to get the optimal growth and usage out your beehive. I'm only utilizing 16 farms here. This can hold up to 36 farms if you don't care about appearance. Yes, I know I'm mentioning appearance. Well, I'm looking down at the floor at my pipes and wiring network. I know. Anyways, if you're interested, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wide by 5 with 1 tile on each corner. This will utilize the full range of the beehive, so you can all get plus 50% growth speed on your crops. If you want to do a modular greenhouse design like I have 1 fully upgraded beehive, so it's doing everything with 1 queen, and then do another module to the side of it where it's only got the beehive and maybe an expansion slot on here. So this will be getting fed workers from the main beehive up top, which is fully upgraded, and you can just put workers in here as well. So you don't necessarily need more than 1 fully upgraded beehive, but this is a really good way of getting a ton of crops. And this is what I mean about my modular beehive and farm setup I've got. If you actually want to see a video on how I done this, let me know down in the comments and I'll happily do a video for you explaining everything in detail. Okay, onto a lot of the recipes now that are now craftable with the honey, beeswax, and all of the other stuff that's introduced regarding bees in this week's update. So in your mortar and pestle, you can put honeycomb into your mortar and pestle, and you can craft honey or beeswax. Now this is a good start before you can upgrade your beehive. Once you start producing honeycomb, you can start producing honey and beeswax from the mortar and pestle. So that's a good thing. 2-to-1 ratio by the looks of it. So 2 honeycomb and you're going to get 1 honey. And the same goes for the beeswax itself. The items that you can craft with just honeycomb itself is as follows. Honeycomb bar, which is craftable on your person. It will require 2 honeycomb and 10 seeds. Antibiotic tonic, anti-parasitic tonic, and paints. These 2 tonics are different recipes now, so you have more options. So you can either use yeast, epoxy, or charcoal, which is the old recipe, or you can use the new recipe, which is honeycomb and charcoal. That is a very nice change. For the anti-parasitic tonic, the old recipe is reed flowers, organic resin, and charcoal. You can still use that, but the alternative is definitely better now. Honeycomb and charcoal for later game. Also, paint's got a revamp, so it will be 5 honeycomb and 5 yeast. Now on to foods, which is honey itself. You now can craft honey mead. You will need a glass bottle for this. Along with honey smoked bacon, this is created on the new smoker. Jarred honey, along with honey glazed pastry. Other additional items is the cured leather, rustic candles, and the new reinforced wooden walls. Now this is where it gets confusing for me. Now that I've just explained everything regarding bees to you, and the beeswax, honey, and the honeycomb. I do not understand why the devs have locked the reinforced wood, which they say in their own words in their patch notes, it's in line with stone. Wooden wall, if you want it reinforced, you've got to use beeswax. Like I've just touched on, you can use honeycomb, tier 2, to convert into beeswax in a mortar and pestle, which is tier 2. Are you with me? So why do you have to wait until tier right at the end of tier 4? It's not at the start of tier 4. It is right at the end. To unlock it, you have to have the electric carpentry bench unlocked, built, and powered to create it. I can't see why they've done this. Maybe in tier 3 at a push? If people want to build in stone, they're still going to build in stone. This is a very big oof to me. It doesn't make any sense, and it makes it pretty much pointless, to be honest. So in further news, the devs do go on to say the removal of the pre-Hypatia branch. This was before the Hypatia branch, so you didn't lose any of your stuff or anything like that. So they are going ahead and removing the pre-Hypatia branch. And coming soon, the batteries and networks. I am testing this at the minute, the batteries and networks. It is coming along. I will have a video out on this when it is a bit more polished. Not the video. It is a bit rough on the testing side. So, but it is getting better. So I will bring you content regarding that soon. Next week, we're getting rugs. Next week, we'll be adding 2 new rugs, ICARUS, the buffalo and the thin weed variations. These will be added to the craftable items in the textiles bench and will require individual animal pelts to craft. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you found this video helpful, make sure you hit that like button. I'd greatly appreciate it. It really does help out the channel. If you're one of the people who love watching my content and you're still not subscribed yet, make sure you do hit that sub button, because there's a few yous who still watch and like and everything like that, and yous aren't subscribed. I would greatly appreciate it. You'd put a smile on my face if you would subscribe. Thanks very much, guys. Let me know down in the comments what you think of the actual bees and all of the changes I've spoken about today. And also sound off in the comments if you agree with me regarding the reinforced wood being in tier 4 is ridiculous. Anyways, thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you all again soon.